Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a lovely day. This video is going to be focused on bad champions, but mainly how to cope with having what we'd consider to be bad champions. As you know, I'm not the most luckiest, especially when it comes to 6 stars, and as well my 5-star luck seems to be getting better. But a lot of the time I get asked, like, how do I remain positive when I get some very terrible champions, especially considering what I picked up from my 4 6-star crystal opening on Christmas Day in 2019. And to some people they may go like, is there any point to releasing a video like this, Rich? Well, the thing is, there was a lot of forum posts, especially this one here, that kind of talked about certain people and their frustrations with getting bad luck and basically talking about their account being cursed. And I wanted to kind of do a practical based video to kind of look at the positive sides of bad champions, but all the things I wanted to reference, Kabam have closed. Thanks, Kabam. So I'm just going to continue on with the video I had planned in any case and just talk about my own experiences from having bad luck, how I kind of look at this as being a positive aspect and kind of getting over the fact of what Kabam may do as well to help you get over the fact of getting a bad champion. And really, should we kind of say that that was theoretically a bad champion that we got, and look at the positives, even though it doesn't look like there are any positives. It's very easy as a player base to get really absorbed and too much involved with things like tiering lists. Getting certain champions that are referred to as god tiers, beyond god tiers, mare champions, etc, etc. This is why I think that Kabam have brought in things like variants. Some variants allow different champions which we may not consider to be as good or maybe are good, are allowed to be put in to be more stronger. For example, we've got recently variant 4 being added in, which saw like decent worth for things like 1 stars, 2 stars, and some really obscure options for 3s and 4 stars, especially for what I'm going to do for an upcoming video on that. Variant 3 as well was a good example of dusting off your Sentinel and as well other champions which fit really decent builds, but didn't really incorporate the use of these kind of random champions or the disappointing champions. However though, for a lot of new players going, oh, maybe I got a terrible 6-star, this is where variant 2 comes in. XL champions, even really obscure ones with little kind of bonuses and buffs to champions like King Groot to Abomination, etc, etc, really became a odd go-to champion option, which is really fantastic, and Kabam should really look to in the future incorporate these bad champions into these variants. Further good news is also all about the improvement and buffing of old champion options. Now, I think for a lot of us and a lot of the player base, they would like to have seen an increase of pace, especially with Kabam putting in new champions. Those are trying to get up to the same kind of standard as most decent champions, and 2019 was more consistent with these decent options that players could use for grinding out. But the old school champions do need a look in, with Hulkbuster, the next one to be buffed. Magneto and so many other old school champions do need a rework to bring them into the current meta of the game. Now, I think we can all agree that by getting a 6-star champion that isn't a questing based champion or just a random champion, a synergy kind of boosting champion, so you've got a champion in there to increase or give more potency to a synergy, like having an option to like take into Act 6, which as we know has its limitations of taking in 4 stars. But we need to gather a further positive, and I think that has got to be the fact that any horrible 6-star could be used really greatly in Arena. Arena grinding, if you're a free-to-play player, is very important, especially considering the fact that you want to gather as many points for the limited amount of time grind, because let's face it guys, the time grind is incredibly important and is a big strain on our lives. So gathering an extra chunk of points from just having a 6-star, regardless if it's good or bad, could be a really fantastic thing for your progression from a free to play as well as just a general arena grinding prospect. It's fair to say I've got a smorgasbord of very obscure and not really highly rated champions, and you could say there might be a synergy around the corner that could benefit them, but largely it's a case of their kit for their specific types of champion build don't really warrant or kind of give something too substantial to any kind of grind. Although I must say that if I'm looking for options for things like variant 2, which I've done, King Groot was a good option, and as well Abomination as a 6-star would be a fun option as well for that. But I've done that now, and it's time for me to kind of move on to other things. Now, from all I've said so far, people may think that, hey, that's a bit rich coming from somebody that has a Captain Marvel movie, an Aegon, a Ghost, and a Sabretooth, as well as a few other champions. But those are the really kind of god-tiery type champions, which we'd refer to as being the best ones out of the lot. Although Aegon should really be awakened for the point of being utilised, and for me to boasting a bit too much about that. Ghost, Sabretooth, mainly Ghost and Cat Marvel Movie being the two main ones there. But that's out of 17. So let's face it, like, luck is there, but luck hasn't been as extensive for the 17 that I've got. Now I just want to end the video by talking about the practical ways to improve situations for bad champions or bad pulls, or if you feel that you've got a cursed account. Take a good look at Arena and find out if there's a new champion coming in that is rated quite highly or you think you're going to really enjoy. If the cutoff works more in your favour, then go for it. Do look out for these year-end events where you can go for a certain year crystal, because the cutoffs are a lot lower and it is better to grind out for them. Secondly, focus on small wins. And when I mean small wins, if you feel that you're terribly unlucky when it comes to crystal pulls, then if you get one decent 4-star, one decent 5-star, or one decent 6-star in about 20 attempts to get something good, take that as a win. And that's the main thing to focus on. If you make that one champion your lead champion, as I've done with Cat Marvel Movie, as I've done with Doctor Doom and several others by the end of this year, it was trying to get over a big spell of bad luck to focus on something great. And I only feel that my luck really kind of changed towards the end of the year and go through 4 months of decent champion pulls as opposed to the rest of the year where it's been very hit and miss. Focus on those small wins, because that's the case of keeping your positivity in game, especially when you're pulling some very odd or not so good champions. And finally, keep positive and think about application. An application based on where I can apply those champions for them being the most effective. If you go, all right, that's fine, I could just use them in Arena, and that's good, because even though they have a high rarity of maybe a 5 or a 6-star, and they're my first or maybe many, I can still use them in the Arena quite effectively. And at the same time, it's helpful for things like solo events, leveling up, etc, etc. Also, events. So if this is a specific type of event that requires that champion, then you've got, hey, an option that I can use that bad champion for utilization there. And especially with the variants, which may give a better option for things like Variant 2, future variants that they're going to deliver, similar to the Variant 3, where Sentinel was a key champion. You know what I mean? Now look, that's easier said than done, but let's face it, you will get some bad champions, but you will get the odd good champion, especially if you feel your account isn't exactly the most luckiest, as I do feel. After that Christmas Day kind of like pulling of those champions, I was pretty annoyed about it, but at the same time, I just kind of went, I'm sure there's a good champion around the corner, and my next 6-star was a Cat Marvel Movie. So it does happen. You will get your bad luck, and you will get your good luck as well, and I wish you all the best in the future with getting some good champions. Hopefully for those that feel like rage quitting most of the time, this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. And how do you cope? Put in the comment section. How do you cope with bad champions? Some people may even just have a few drinks. Who knows? Check out some other content here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.